Hello all, I'm Mithun and welcome back to a brand new video. So as you guys can see in this video, we are going to build a AI app. Okay, so a AI mobile app or AI chat app using Flutterflow. But that's not the agenda of this video. So the agenda of the video is to give you a ground scratch up understanding of the application ecosystem. Okay, so what are apps, how apps were built, so what are the options we have now, so what is Flutterflow, why should you use Flutterflow, why it is so much of a buzz in the app development industry, so how you can build the UI, how can you connect to the backend, how can you test. So the whole ecosystem idea will be provided in this video, and eventually building an application which you can which will be not that much fancy, but anything which can get you started with. So that's the whole idea of this particular video. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started. So first things first, what are apps? What are applications? See, applications are the piece of software. Okay, so again, it's a set of instructions which gets executed, and it is dependent on the operating system. So that's why you can see, right, there are apps on Play Store supporting Android, iOS apps, there are Mac OS apps, there are Microsoft desktop apps. Okay, so there are a lot of applications like this. Now, as I always tell, the main resources of these computing devices are the processing and the memory, right? Processing power and the memory. So these are managed by the operating systems, which is sitting on top of this hardware. Okay, so this manages, allocates all of this, right? So when you build apps, you just give the instructions for this allocation, for this operating system to perform some particular task. So they are dependent on the operating systems. So this is the first thing you should understand. And now there are a lot of operating systems, and building applications for them individually was the norm before. Okay, so like you are building an Android app, you need Java or Kotlin. You are building something for iOS, you need Swift. Okay, so you are building for Microsoft, there's a whole tech stack. Mac OS, there is a whole tech stack. So now in the developer perspective, it doesn't make that much of a change, because every developer has some niche in particular technology, so it's all good. But think in the perspective of the organizations, so they need to reach a lot of audience, right? So they need manpower or the developers across these technologies. Okay, so for these different platforms, that was the first problem. The next problem was to maintain consistency. Okay, so individually development teams are working on different platforms. Maintaining the consistency was a lot of problem. Okay, so that's where the new era of app development started hyping up or booming. So that is cross platform development. What is cross platform development? So it's like you write code once and you compile it for multiple operating systems. So this is a more efficient way, right? Because instructions are same, only thing is that how you pass to different operating systems are different, right? So that's where players like Flutter came into picture. Okay, not Flutterflow, Flutter. What is Flutter? Flutter is a UI development toolkit from Google for app development, cross platform app development. It's like you learn Flutter. Okay, so which is built on Dart. Okay, Dart is the programming language you use. So where you write some instructions in Dart on the Flutter framework, and it gets compiled into Android apps, your Mac OS apps, Windows apps, okay, your desktop apps, and also the iOS apps. So you can do cross-platform development like this. Okay, again, Flutter is not only the option. So you have React Native. So there are a lot of players now who are working on the cross-platform development. Okay, so now instead of building only for Android, you can build it for Android and iOS. Okay, also a website. Okay, every company needs a website, right? So you need not to separately design that. Okay, so you can build a website using Flutter as well. So this was a very big breakthrough. But what happened is that there is this is the advantage. The disadvantage of Flutter developers is Flutter is a framework. Okay, and it is only used for that is only majorly used only for Flutter. So what happens if Flutter goes down tomorrow? Okay, because it's a framework. Okay, what it gets vanishes. What about all of the Flutter developers? So there is both a risk and the advantage on learning these frameworks. Okay, uh, so now what happened is that so people were loving Flutter. Okay, so I have built some apps using Flutter. Okay, so it was very cool. So over a period of time, what happened was people loved cross-platform development, but they don't want cross-platform development at scale. they want individual teams managing it. Okay. But this is for larger organizations, but for smaller organizations they need something to get up and running, right? So that is where Flutter products like Flutterflow came into picture. So Flutterflow is a low code platform. Okay, means you can do it directly through drag and drop, or if you know the Flutter, how to write Flutter code, you can write it as well. So it's a low code. You have an option, do this or this. Okay. So they, what Flutterflow team does, so what they did was that on top of Flutter, they built out their product. So internally it's Flutter itself, but you are not writing everything. Okay, so with this, what happens? It helps small organizations to spin up their apps very soon. And the major things, majority of the advantage I see is in freelancing. There are a lot of freelance gigs for building apps like this. Okay, because they don't want what is going under the hood. Okay, they just want an MVP. Okay, some app to get started. So there's a lot of freelancing opportunities with Flutterflow. Okay, so let's explore. Let's go to their homepage. So let me just say Flutterflow. So you can see build high quality customized apps quickly. So they have a very good interface. Okay, I have met the founders as well. So very good team. Okay, so build better, launch faster, so high quality customized app quickly. So you can see, so it's the platform is overwhelming, but yeah, so let's get into it one by one. So you can see Amazon, Google, IBM, GM, Salesforce. Okay, so does these teams only build using Flutterflow? No, so there are a lot of internal applications which is not that much of eye impact, so they are built using this. Okay, build UI and logic visually. Okay, customize everything, connect to your app with data. Again, I told you, right, it's Flutter is a framework from Google, so Google has its backend ecosystem or backend as a service like Firebase. Okay, so that connectivity is also very much good. Collaborate seamlessly, build once, deploy everywhere, I told you, right? So iOS, Android, desktop. So again, you can also get your code. Okay, it's not like you're only getting the output. You can take the code, and when your application scales, you can just maintain that. So you can see uh, there are over 2.5 million users building on Flutterflow, and let's start today. So let's directly get into it. Let's log in. I have an account. Okay, so you can just make an account. It's very much simple, and you will be getting into this projects drop down page. So again, you get some free projects to build, but you cannot get the APK files or the deployable files, but you can test it everything here with their free plan. So that is very much helpful for us. So let's create a new app. I'm going to just say Gemini chat. Okay, so what we are going to build is we are going to build a Gemini chat app. Okay, so where users can ask something and we'll make an API call to Gemini and fetch the answer. So this is a simple thing. Again, one more thing which I found very much interesting are the templates. So you can build a fashion and clothing brand, everything for free here. See, some are free, some are like you need to pay them. Okay, so this is also very good. You can host your widgets. Okay, you can sell your templates. All of that is also there. So let's start building. Okay, so it will take a minute or so to just spin up. Okay, again, so you can see what is this, what's happening with them. There's a lot of things. Don't worry, we'll come one by one. Okay, so first everything is a drag and drop. You can see these are all the elements. So you have a lot of elements, base elements, form elements. Okay, so there are a lot of things, and here on the right side you have the widget tree. So how the widgets are placed, all of this. So you can see how are the different elements. So you can also see the storyboard. If you're someone who is into development, you know what is storyboard. And then you can connect to Firebase directly. Okay, I told you, right? So Google provides a lot of support here. And then you can connect to database schema. You can have app values. Okay, we'll explore this. You can make API calls. You can have some media assets. Okay, so you can see the custom code as well. So how the code is there, everything. And you can also do some cloud functions, and they have some of the premium features like automated testing, so you can do it, and AI agents. So this needs a premium plan, but yeah, so let's not go there. And you can also see the color code, like let's say, see you can see the blue color here, right? So this is the primary color. If you don't want, you can directly change that. Okay, let me change it to something orangish. So let me take this up here so you can see. So the page colors, you can maintain the colors, themes, all of this here. Okay, and so your app settings will be here, a lot of things, but let's not worry. So first thing is that let me change this text. So here you can see the text. You cannot edit here, you can select here, and all of the modifications can be done from the right panel. So let me just say Gemini chat. Okay, great. You can see there is a lot of options, like how you want to give some padding, you want to align some text properties, what is the font weight, what is the font style, size, font color, all of this you can manage from here, alignment, everything, whatever you can think of. Now I want a simple interface, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fetch a container first. Okay, again you can see what is the border radius, what is the border width, what is the width. If you want the entire width, just say infinity, so it takes up the entire width, and I want it something till here, that's it. Okay, great. So inside this container, first let's start with the input. I want to give the input box to chat, right? So I'll fetch a text area. Okay, so text is the visual ones, but we need something text input, right? So text field. So let me fetch this. So I'm going to give it an entire width. Okay, let me give some padding. I'm going to say I'm going to give 10 pixels padding. 10 10 10 10 here. Okay, you can give anything. Okay, again I'm not interested in building cool UI. I'm just going to give something which can get started. You can give the name as well. So this is the chat input. Okay, so just to make it more readable, I'm going to give this is chat input, and I want a submit button as well, right? So let me just bring the button. Okay, and I would just say submit button. Okay, or chat button, something like this. And here I will just say send. Okay, great. Let me bring this a bit up. Okay, so the button is very much clear. Great. Now if you want to change the placeholder, I don't want the placeholder as text field. Okay, I want something like ask anything. Okay, great. So the placeholder is there. Now here I will give the input. On clicking this, I want to get the output as well, right? So I need some output text. Okay, let me get this text, give some padding. I will give again 10. You can give it of your choice. You can change the colors, you can change the font, you can do whatever you want. Okay, but yeah, so I want something which is very much simple. Great. So this is the chat input, this is the submit button, and this is the chat output. Okay, great. So everything good. So now what happens is that first I need to add an action, right? So what happens when I click on the send button? On clicking on the send button, I should take the value from this input and I should show the output here. So this is the simple idea, right? So first let's create an API call. Let me go to API calls and say, hey, I need to add a new API call. Great. So what is the name? I'm going to just say Gemini chat. Again, you can chat with Gemini, the OpenAI, Grok. Okay, so all of this I will pin a video, so how to do this you can just check out here. And so I'm going to make a post call. So what is the URL, all of this? Let's go to the AI Studio of Google. Okay, let's go to AI Studio. So you can see this API key section. You can generate a new API key or you can use whatever it is. So this is the URL. Everything is here, guys. You need not to do anything, just copy paste. So this is the URL I'm going to hit. And I need some headers. Okay, so where are headers? These two are the headers, right? Content type application JSON. So let me put it out here, and I need another header where I'm going to say, so this is the Google API key, and I want to paste the API key here. Great. So I have an API key generated. I will use it, or else you can just say create API key. Let me use this and let me paste this API key. Great. Now in the body parameters, I will pass a JSON. Okay, what is the JSON? You need not to worry, everything is here. So this is the JSON. Just copy this and paste it out here. Okay, and just say format. Okay, for testing purpose, explain the so this is the text which I am passing. So let's test this if it's working or not. So the question is explain how AI works in few words. Let's go to response and test, and let's say test API call. If it succeeds here, means the API is working properly. See, here saying you are getting the answer. AI learns patterns from data and make predictions or decisions. See, you are getting this simple text. Means our API is working fine, everything is fine. So but I need to capture this output as well, right? So we need only this. So I will add this to JSON path, and I would say this is the actual output I want to display on the screen. So I'm saving this, we'll display it later. Great. Okay, this is all good, but if you remember, I don't want the static text, right? I want to pass the text from my input. So what I will do, I'll create a variable. I'm going to just say input. It will be a string. The default value is nothing. We will pass the value later, so not an issue at all. So now if I come to body, see, you can see this input, right? I'm going to drag and drop this. I Instead of this, I will say I need this input. Great. And now add the call. So we are creating variable. Whenever you want some dynamic value, you will create a variable. Great. So now with this, our API call is clear. Now let's add actions. So I would say, hey, whenever I click on send, okay, I need to call the API and I need to store the output, right? So to store the output, we'll create something called as app value, app state value. So let's create this. I will just say Gemini output, something like this. You can give any name. Gemini output, it will be a string. That's it. We are going to just create it. We'll update the value later. And we'll say, hey, here instead of hello world, use the value from app state, use Gemini output. Okay, Gemini output will come here. Great. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some action. So you can add an action here and I will make a backend call. Okay, so backend API call. So here what I'm going to say, it says, so what API call you want to add. So I'm going to just select Gemini chat. It gives out list of all of the APIs. Okay, so and you need to add set the variable values, right? So I would say, hey, the input, the value of the input will be the widget state of the chat input. Okay, so see, I gave you the name, right? So chat input will be the value here. Great. Once this is done, once everything is passing, I need to update the variable, right? So I would say, hey, update the variable, update app state. So the app state is the Gemini output. Set the value to the action outputs. Okay, so that is app result. Okay, so the it will be a JSON response and it will be a predefined path. We saved that name, right? So telling that actual output, we'll say, hey, so show these values. Okay, again, so if you see here, right, means it doesn't have any bugs. If you have any bugs, it will have a cross icon. You can just see. Okay, great, very simple. I told whenever there is a API submit, when the send button is clicked, just make a API call, fetch the input value from the input widget and update the app state. That's it. Great. So now everything is done. So this is it. So now we built an app, Mithun, but how to test it? So first, if you want to preview, means you are not chatting, you are just previewing. You have this eye icon. This is very useful because in Play Store you will see, right, there will be some app screenshots. So you can see all of like this. So how it looks on mobile, how it looks on a tablet, how it looks on the website. So all of this you can just see. Okay, but I want to test this, so you can just test this app, test and run. So just say test. So what happens, it opens a new window where you can actually interact with it. Okay, so what's happening is that it's running on cloud. If you are building app natively, okay, so what happens is that you need to install a simulator or a physical device, but now it happens on the cloud. So that's also a very good thing. So it takes 2 to 3 minutes because it set up all of the cloud environment. So it pushes your code, enters the preview mode, all of this. Okay, so let's wait for it. Again, you can see Flutterflow offers 160 plus pre-made templates. This is very cool product. Okay, so very cool team as well. So they have very good things. Purchase apps. Okay, so you can build custom action in 90 seconds. I told you, right, how easy it is to build a custom action. So now this is the panel. It will have the debug data as well. So all of, if you are an app developer, you will know how important debug data is. Okay, so it will very much helpful when you are debugging things. But yeah, so this is our Gemini chat. Okay, so again, I'm in the dark mode, so they don't have the boundaries, but yeah. So what I'm going to say is, hey, I'm going to simply say hi. Okay, I'm going to simply say hi and I will click on send. So now see, hi there, how can I help you today? You can ask any question. So who is the Prime Minister of India? Something like this. Okay, see, you can see all of the widget states, action outputs, all of the debug data will be there. So see, the current Prime Minister of India is Narendra Modi. Now you can just build it for tab or a whole large screen. You can see how it looks. So this is how you test the app. So the app is testing properly. Now if you want to deploy, okay, so you need those APK files, right? So like let's say you can connect it. These are all the premium features. Connect to GitHub repo, open in VS Code, refactor, download project YAMLs, download APK files, okay, refactor project, everything. But website you can deploy it for free. Let's do that. So let's go to settings and let's go to platforms. See, these are the platforms you can enable. Like Android and iOS will be by default. Web also you can enable, but Mac OS, Windows, so these are not supported in our plan, but you can build it for all of these 6 platforms. Great. So come to web development and you can just click on publish. Okay, so what happens, it publishes on this app. Okay, you can refresh, so it will take a minute or two to deploy your website. Again, don't worry about the UI. So I have built a very basic UI. You can make it better. So it's publishing, so it will take 1 minute or two. So you can directly deploy it as well. So have a hosted link. So let's wait for it. So this is how simple it is. See how easy it is to build a AI app. You need not to scaffold anything. You need not to worry about the code structure, all of this. So the Flutterflow handles all of that load. So it creates all of the best practices. Again, when your team grows, or if you want to actually make it available for the users, you can just buy their plans. So they are very much economical as well, not that much of an burden. Okay, so individuals also, when they are freelancing, they will get this and deploy the applications as well. So you can connect it to custom domain. If you come to mobile development, right, so you can deploy it to App Store or Play Store with one click. But yeah, you need to upgrade it. You can publish it as a library. So you can add authentication layers, push notifications, everything. The whole ecosystem is here. So you need not to worry about it. So it's published. So like let's see. So see, I have built. This is the power of cross-platform development. You build for one platform, you can get it for many. So I will just say. Who is or else like let's give simply hi hello itself, hi, something like this. So you can just see, you get an answer, so you understand this, right? So this is how things work. So this is how it's you can build a AI app with ease for multiple platforms, and you can deploy it on a single click, and most importantly understand the whole ecosystem of Flutterflow. I hope this video was very much helpful and you guys have the skill enough to kickstart or build your first mobile application. So this is just the start, but yeah, so eventually we'll upgrade and build a lot of cool stuff. So to get those updates, click on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments. So if you had any idea of Flutterflow, or how do you feel after knowing Flutterflow. That's it, and I will catch you up in the next one. Thank you.